Hi everyone. I'm sorry if the sound quality on this is a little weird. I'm not sure, but I'm not using a mic because I want to be able to move around and show you how I'm going to decorate this cake, which is actually a dummy cake. This is a display, but I have it iced with real buttercream. I'm going to use some air dry buttercream flowers, and that's really what this video is about because I did write an article about this going through the recipe and how to pipe everything. I'll put the link in the description. But air dry buttercream is really a good option if you don't have time, like if you're decorating a wedding cake for a customer or you're decorating a birthday cake for a kid or whatever, and you don't want to do everything last minute, like piping the flowers, putting them on. You can pipe flowers that are buttercream and put them on the cake ahead of time if you use air dry buttercream, and they will dry out, and you can actually pick them up and move them around if you're careful. They will still stay soft. So it's not the same as royal icing. Royal icing will get hard, and then you can really pick them up and move them around without worrying about breaking them. Air dry buttercream, and I have a tray of flowers over here. Let me put this down and I'll show you. Air dry buttercream is basically an American buttercream. It's confectioner sugar, shortening, and water. So you don't do any dairy in it. You can put some flavoring if you want to do a butter flavor, but because it doesn't have any dairy or butter, it dries. I won't say hard, but it does dry so that you can pick the flowers up. So I've piped all of these. These are actually pretty old. I've left them around so that I could do this video, and I just haven't gotten around to it. But you can pipe these maybe 3 or 4 days ahead of time if you're going to be putting them on a cake. And I've done that with wedding cakes before, where I pipe the buttercream flowers. I'll leave them until I need them. And, like 3 or 4 days after you pipe them, they're hard enough that you can pick them up and move them around and just put them directly on the cake. And I'm going to show you how to do that. But this, for example, let me pick this one up. This is a rose that I piped with air dry buttercream. And I'm going to show you how this works because you basically pipe them just, the regular way with wax paper. But then when it dries up, you can actually just pull this right off the paper and you can pick these up. And it's very easy to move these around. The thing about them, though, is that they do still stay soft. And when they're hard on the outside, I can pick it up. I'm being careful, though, because you can drop them and they will crack and break because they are still soft. But you can just do these ahead and let them dry. When they sit on the icing will they will absorb the oils from the icing that's fresh that you just put on the cake when you're icing it. And these will soften up a little bit. So you can make these and put them on, and then people can cut through them when they're cutting the cake. They can eat them. It's not a big deal. And if you're saying, oh my God, I don't want to eat flowers that have been sitting out for 3 days, you just cover them up while they're drying. It's not a big deal. They don't need to be refrigerated because there's nothing perishable in them. And if you also don't like that idea, what do you think people are eating at the bakery, at the grocery store? They don't put dairy in those cakes 9 times out of 10. All right, but I want to show you this. This is the flour, like I said, and see how I'm picking up, moving it around. I am being careful, but I can still take this and, oh, okay, wait. It's hard. It's hard, but I can break it, and it's kind of crumbly inside because it's basically just sugar that's dried out. It's like a hard candy, but it's still soft. So once it starts absorbing the oils from the frosting, people will be able to bite right through them and not have to worry about breaking their teeth on royal icing flowers or gum paste or anything like that. So it is a good option for that. And with the air dry buttercream, like I said, it doesn't need to be refrigerated. You can refrigerate it if you want. But what you can do is mix up a whole bunch of colored buttercream ahead of time if you want to do things last minute. Put them in the little cupcakes in like this, wrap it up really well with the plastic wrap. And because there's nothing perishable in them, you can just leave it sitting out somewhere if you don't have room inside the fridge. Obviously, you can refrigerate this. That's not a problem. And, it's a good thing to refrigerate things that are edible just to make sure. But I want to show you how this is going to work. And I mean, basically, the good thing about these is that since they are buttercream, like I said, you can just stick it right on that's all you have to do. You don't have to use wires. You don't have to do anything tricky. Just stick it right on the icing. It's going to stick right to the icing. It's not like gum paste where you have to be careful that it doesn't fall off because it's heavy. And because it's icing on icing, it will stick. And when you're decorating a cake, I'll put this one on. When you're decorating a cake with flowers, do the large ones first and then put the leaves and stuff in between. So I'm going to go ahead and decorate this, and I will show you the progress in just a minute. All right, so I started to put the flowers on, then I thought I'll stop and show you the leaves. But the way that you do any kind of a cake when you're putting flowers on it, start with the large ones first, and then you can arrange them in the kind of position you want. then fill in the holes in between them with smaller leaves or smaller flowers. And for this one, I'm doing kind of an arrangement on the top and then doing this kind of shape that goes like this on the side of one side of the cake. Now, because these are the air dry buttercream, like I said, you can just stick them right on the cake. There's no wires or anything to cut, that people need to remove. So that's another benefit of it. You're not going to give a cake to a customer and have wires and toothpicks that they have to remove and remember to take out. No one's going to poke themselves on anything. And I have heard of that happening because people don't always remove everything they should when they cut the cake. This way they can just cut right through it and it's fine. You do need to be aware that if the flowers are larger, they are going to be heavy, so you should put those at the bottom. So start at the bottom with some larger flowers and then kind of work your way up. And see, like this one is kind of resting on this one, so they will support the weight of each other. But like this little small one is just stuck to the icing. There's nothing holding it up. And I did start to put some leaves on, then I stopped. So I'm going to go and put the leaves on now, and then I'll come back and show you the final design. All right, so I finished putting the leaves on the cake, and I will post a picture. I'll put the picture on I'll post a picture on the blog article. I'm going to write a blog article. I'll link that in the description. You can go see pictures of the cake. But basically, it's got kind of this cascade shape, and then at the top, there are more flowers. This was really fast and easy to do because I made the flowers ahead of time. And if you're working under a deadline, or if you have a kid's birthday party that you're planning, and you don't want to decorate the cake the same day or the day before because you're just not going to have time, air dry buttercream is a really good option to go ahead and make pretty flowers like this. Put them aside, let them dry so that you can handle them. You do have to be careful, okay, because like some of these little small ones that have pokey leaves on them, those little petals, those will still break off because it is technically buttercream. It's not royal icing, so it's not hard. But like I said, this will absorb the moisture and the oils from the icing. You can cut right through it. There's no wires, there's no toothpicks, there's no nothing you need to worry about. And you can decorate this at the last minute. You can make these ahead of time, put them aside and save them, decorate the cake, before the party. It takes literally 10 minutes to do this once you have all the flowers made. It's just a really convenient way to have stuff ready for a cake to decorate without having to do it all at the same time. So I put the article with the recipe for this and just, step-by-step instructions on how to make all of these flowers in the description of this video. Go ahead and take a look at that. But leave me any questions if you have them. This is just a really easy way to do flowers. It's convenient, it's fast, and I will answer any questions. If you have them, give this video a thumbs up, and I will talk to you later.